o'clock isn't that far off. Hi everybody, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Amanda Izenstark, and I'm the Reference and Instructional Design Librarian at the University of Libraries. And what I'm going to talk about in my really brief presentation today is just some snippets on supporting students we never actually see. URI Libraries supporting local and distant research. So if you were here for the previous presentation, you may have seen the lib guides that, or libguides, depending on how you describe them, that Cheryl McCarthy from the Graduate School of Library and Information Studies talked about. And in the lib guides, we are able to embed what is basically a box where students can ask questions. And when we're online, it's got a little yellow light bulb next to it and it says, type here, ask us questions. If we're online, they can send us an email. But this modest little box actually brings in questions from students all over campus, off of campus, etc. In fact, quite an array of questions. So I just have a snapshot of our statistics. We started the service in 2005, and this dark purple line here shows you that we had some interest in it, and maybe at our peak, about maybe 60 questions in November when students are really buckling down for their research. And it continued pretty much in a similar pattern. You can actually see over the academic year where students are running in and saying, I need help with my research. In 2010-11, we were able to actually expand the reach of it, 2010-2011. So you'll see that the numbers just started spiking. We had access to new technology that allowed us to embed access points to us in different places where students are doing research at their point of need. So they do a search in a database and they find results and they're not sure what to do with them, or they're not good results. They've got a box on the right-hand side where they can get instant assistance from a reference librarian. So we see, again, here's where we started. We saw some seasonal peaks, and then when we expanded our reach, we see those peaks and valleys getting larger, more questions coming in during peak research times. So there are some common themes in our questions. One of them is, where do we even start my research? Students get topics, they have no idea even where to begin. They have a lot of questions about finding books. Maybe they've never done it before, maybe they've never been in a library as large as ours. So they ask us about finding books, finding articles, in a lot of cases finding statistics. I need to find statistics to support my argument. How do we do that? And finally, citing sources. Those are big main things that we see in our logs. We keep transaction logs and we have them as anonymous logs, so we don't know who's asking these questions, but we use that to sort of see, okay, these are the kinds of questions we're getting over time. Where are our users actually finding us, or where are they coming from? And in some cases, we had a question from China. A student was doing work abroad and she sent us a question. Her big problem at that point, this was one of our early questions, was that China was blocking access to certain websites. And so she was having a really hard time finding information. But she was actually contacting us from China while she was studying abroad. We had recently a question from a student in Canada. A student had basically done some Googling and was trying to do research on, or develop a historiography for their history class, and found one of our guides, one of the things that Cheryl McCarthy had just shown, specifically about how to find a historiography, or how to create a historiography. I'm working back and forth with this student for a while, and it turns out this student is not actually a URI student. Finally, the student admitted after 20 minutes, I'm actually at a private liberal arts university in Canada. So it was a student who had found my contact box, I had my own separate one, and asked me questions that a normal URI student would ask me. It just turned out it wasn't a URI student at all, but I was happy to help. We've had questions from students in Italy who are, again, studying abroad, don't have a great command of Italian, or the materials in the Italian libraries are in Italian, so they wanted to access our resources from Italy, where they were, and so they asked us questions. One of our early questions came from North Carolina, getting closer and closer. Some students from New York, when they're on their internships, we've had questions from Newport, of course, when they want to go over the bridge in bad weather or just don't feel like coming to campus. And also just elsewhere in the building. You may not want to leave your laptop sitting around in the library unattended when you go to the library and to ask questions. You can just ask us from your laptop sitting there, and it turns out, oh, the student's across the way, or I'm downstairs. And especially in the early days, we had a repeat student who would use the computer lab downstairs to ask us questions. She said, oh, this is too complicated, I'll just come up and ask you in person. So she would start down there and then come ask us questions in person upstairs. What did the students think of this service? A lot of the cases it is, what they say, super helpful. One recent one was best resource on campus, which was really cool. This was a funny one we got at the end of last semester. A student had come back after having asked questions and gotten information from us and said, by the way, I got a B- on the paper. A lot of other people failed. So that person was really proud of that B- because it was better than anybody else got. And recently what we got was, you are the world's greatest sleuth. The person was trying to find information, a primary source that was the basis for an article in Time magazine, and had said, oh, you're the world's greatest sleuth. So they were really happy to have this kind of support. And I just took, for the handout that's over on table 32, a Wordle of the logs of the questions that students had asked in December. And you'll see common trends in there. They're looking for articles, they're looking for databases, they're trying to find information, they need help with basics. And it's kind of nice to see there are some positive terms in there, like and help, etc. and okay. So they're actually getting some lists. But this actually really summarizes trends that we see in our logs over the past 5 years, or actually 8 years at this point almost. So that's about it. I said it would be a brief presentation. Thank you very much. Any questions? Since I guess I do have about a minute or two. Yeah.
You are allowed to help people that are not from URI?
We're open to the public. If you think about it, public people can come in all the time. And so, yeah, we're open to the public, especially students who are, we will get questions where, just like over the phone too, that was one of the things that we had talked about when we instituted it, is we get calls from the general public asking us questions about our resources. We don't say, oh, you're a member of the general public, goodbye. We do actually answer their questions, and it's the same thing here.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much. And if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know.